On Larry King Now, The Shape of Water star Richard Jenkins.
I got an email from Guillermo del Toro, the director, and he said, I want you to play Giles. I hope you love it as much as I do. I read it. Next day I sent him an email back and said, I think I do.
The roles you're getting at this stage are more complex?
Yeah, they are. That's what I like. I like human beings. This is why I like Giles, because Giles has his own life in this movie.
What is it like Oscar night?
Oscar night is extraordinary.
When they're announcing the names, are you expectant?
You're hopeful, like everybody is, but you know, you try always to say, not gonna happen, not gonna happen. And usually it's not gonna happen. Once in a while it does. Yeah.
Plus, is there someone else from yesteryear you would like to portray in a film?
Abraham Lincoln's uncle.
He was a great guy.
He was.
But he told him, Abe, Abe.
You thought Abe was funny. Oh.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest, one of my favorite actors, is Emmy-winning and Academy Award-nominated actor Richard Jenkins. Richard has starred in the hit HBO drama series 6 Feet Under, as well as films like Burn After Reading, Step Brothers, and Bone Tomahawk. And he's up for the Best Supporting Actor at this year's Oscar for his role in one of the year's most celebrated films, The Shape of Water. He was previously nominated for Best Actor for The Visitor. Okay, when you got the script for The Shape of Water, Truth, what'd you think?
Loved it immediately. I got an email from Guillermo del Toro, the director, and he said, I want you to play Giles. I hope you love it as much as I do. I read it. Next day I sent him an email back and said, I think I do. And that's how I loved it from the minute I read it.
Did you know Del Toro?
No, never met him. Knew his work, but I didn't know him.
So he saw you for that role?
Yeah, he did. He saw all of us for that role, for the roles we played in the movie.
No kidding.
He knew what he wanted. Yeah, yeah.
What was the set like?
It starts with the director, and it was hilarious and fun and
funny?
Warm. Oh, he's hysterical. He's hysterical. Yeah, he's really funny.
That's not a funny movie.
No, it's got some funny things.
Funny
in it.
moments,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, but he's a funny guy. But he's, you know, it felt like a 1940s Hollywood classic.
I heard you said that you thought Spencer Tracy would walk in at any moment.
Nothing was handheld, no camera. Everything was on dollies and cranes like they did it in the studio days. He lit it like a black and white movie. The sets, my set, I've said this many times, it looked like a piece of art. It was, everything in it was authentic, but nothing was real. It was so beautiful. I called my wife when I said, you got to see this. You have to come see this.
Shot it in Toronto, right?
Yeah, in Toronto.
It's, I guess, refreshing when you see something like that.
Oh.
What makes him a great director?
He watches. He watches. He doesn't look for something specific. He watches what's going on, and he sees everything. He sees where your hand is, where your eyes are, he just watches. And when you do that, when you look for something specific, you miss stuff going on around you. But if you just take it all in, like Guillermo does, you see everything, which makes him, in my mind, for an actor, a fabulous director.
Is he a good actor's director?
He's a great actor's director, yeah.
The film has resonated with so many people. Why, do you think?
I think it's, you know...
When I told you, when I saw it, I had no idea what it was. I had not read a review. I was in Tampa with Shape of Water. I heard a buzz about it. I walked in.
I envy you. I think that's the best way. Actually, when I saw it in an editing room by myself. And it just blew me away. But, you know, you never know what other people are going to think of something, so...
Are you used to watching yourself?
You get used to it. You never like it, but you get used to it.
Why don't you like it?
Because I don't like the way I look, the way I sound. Will they ever hire me again? Look at that. Oh, my God, what am I doing?
Do you ever say to yourself, I'd have played that differently?
Once in a while, yeah. I find that if I see a movie I'm in 5 years after I made it, where I've kind of forgotten about what I did and what was going on, I can watch it a little more objectively.
Well, The Visitor was a fantastic movie.
It was, yes. Thank you.
Tell me about Giles. We like him. Kind of lovable, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's really insecure. He's. It's funny because he's my age. He's a gay man in 1962, so he's in the closet. He's an artist that ad agency, he draws for ad agencies, and now photographs are starting to take over for illustrators, and he's losing his job. And he's Sally Hawkins, who plays Eliza, his next door neighbor. He's her best friend.
She's tremendous.
She's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. And I thought the most important thing for us before we started was to become friends, because they are so close. And it took about, I don't know, 3 minutes to become her friend.
They do a lot of rehearsal?
We did 3 weeks. Mostly it was getting to know Guillermo's world, which is so different than any filmmaker I've worked with. The look, what he wanted out of the movie, you started to understand. I understood more about him. I watched his movies, and it was a chance for us to all, Octavia and Michael Stuhlbarg and Sally and I, all to get to know each other. He left Michael Shannon out of this because
Really?
Yeah, he wanted us to be afraid of Michael Shannon, so Michael wasn't around for that.
He was scary.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah.
When you watched the film, was it what you expected?
No, and I thought I knew what I thought when I finished filming, I said, I know what this movie is. And then I saw it, and I realized I didn't have a clue.
You've had an extraordinary career. Did you do theater?
I did for 20 years, yeah. And once I started doing movies, I stopped doing theater.
What brought you to Hollywood?
Well, I came to Hollywood, actually. The first movie I got that kind of changed my life was The Witches of Eastwick. I had done Silverado. I had like 2 lines in Silverado before that, but The Witches of Eastwick is what...
What's it like to be known as a character actor?
Well, that's what I am, so it's fine.
Technically, all actors should be character.
Yeah. It's better than, being known as, hey, asshole or something.
But if you're a character actor, it also means you're pretty much working.
Yeah, look, it's just luck has a huge part in all this, and I think now at my age I realize that, yeah.
The guy who played the guy who came out of the water.
Doug Jones. He's about 6'3", 140 pounds. He's played a lot of Guillermo's monsters. He was entombed in rubber. I mean, rubber, it's like being buried alive, except your eyes and your mouth. And he was that way for 15 hours a day. One of the stunt doubles, they built a suit for him, and I don't know if it was a stunt double or a dance double, somebody. And they were so claustrophobic, they threw up in the suit because it's just terrifying to be in that. It's literally like being buried alive.
I wonder, are you acting when you're that, or are you limited?
No, he's
in range?
Well, it's so funny because the first scene I had with him, he's in the bathtub and I'm drawing him, and I start talking to him. And right before we filmed it, I looked over at him and he was kind of sitting like this, and I thought, oh God, this movie doesn't have a chance. I'm not buying this. And then they said action, and he changed. It wasn't a lot, but it was. I whoa, okay. Now we got something.
More with The Shape of Water star Richard Jenkins when we return on this edition of Larry King Now. Don't click away. It's wonderful to have Richard Jenkins with us. How did you learn you were nominated?
This time I looked at my phone. I was waiting for it. First time, I figured if I was nominated, somebody would call me. And
you don't live on the West, do you?
No, I live in the East Coast. And
Delaware, right? Or
no.
Rhode Island?
Rhode Island, yeah.
Were you in Rhode Island?
I was, yeah.
Well, you were looking at the phone, so you were expecting a call.
I wasn't sure, it was, I don't know. I mean, it's surreal when it happens. It's just, you think, really?
Who called you?
Well, the first time, my son-in-law's father called me. And he said, congratulations. I figured I wasn't, nobody called, so I guess I didn't. And it was later than I thought. And I said, for what? And he said, "What, you idiot? You're not watching?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, you're nominated." I said, "Oh." That's how I found out.
This call came from who?
As soon as my name came up, my agent and the publicist called. Yeah.
As soon as it came up on television?
Yeah, as soon as it did. Yeah, it was very sweet.
First of all, what does it mean for your career? It must mean tremendous things for a career.
Yeah, you do see it. You see it. I think Sean Penn said to me, "You got 2 weeks to cash in on this." It's really. I don't know. It's like career something you kind of look back on. I saw after The Visitor, yeah, things changed for me.
Does it up your fee?
Yeah, a little bit.
What is it like Oscar night?
Oscar night is extraordinary. I never understood what it was until I went. And the time and the effort and the money they put into that evening is really extraordinary. It's beautiful.
When they're announcing the names, are you expectant? Are you...
You're hopeful, like everybody is, but you know, you try always to say, not going to happen, not going to happen. And usually it's not going to happen. But once in a while it does, yeah.
What did you win the Emmy for?
Olive Kitteridge.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. Adaptation of the beautiful novel that was produced and starring Frances McDormand. She produced it and called me up and said, "I want you to play Henry." It was great.
You worked with her in Burn
After Reading?
Burn
Yeah.
After Reading, which was hysterical.
It was hysterical, yeah.
Okay, the roles you're getting at this stage are more complex?
Yeah, they are. That's what I like. I like human beings. This is why I like Giles, because Giles has his own life in this movie, his own hopes and dreams, and only because of those things does he realize that his true friend is Eliza. And I love characters like that. I like people.
Have you had a late career renaissance, kind of?
Well, I've worked pretty steadily, but you know,
Renaissance. What did I say? Resonance.
Well,
I'm getting old.
what I heard was Renaissance, so I'm getting old too. Yeah, it's been pretty great. Yeah.
Why'd you become an actor?
I don't know. It's the only thing I ever wanted to do.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in DeKalb, Illinois, a little farm town. Well, it's not. People always say it's not a farm town. There's a university there, but it was about, when I was growing up, 20,000. It got up to 40 or 50, and I used to go to the movies every weekend. And I would say, that's what I wanted.
What was your first paying job?
I detasseled corn in DeKalb for. There's a thing called DeKalb Ag, which they bred hybrid corn, and they hired teenagers to detassel.
Did you do Broadway?
Never did. No. Never did. Never made it there.
What brought you to Hollywood? What was there a part? Did someone see you?
Well, actually, I came to Hollywood. I came to Hollywood for 9 months to a year, and it was disastrous, so I left. And I was doing a play at the Long Wharf Theater in New Haven, and Sandy Dennis was there with her manager, Bill Tresh, and halfway through the play, she turned to him and she said, "Sign him." So I was 36 at the time, and he came backstage and said, "I want to sign you." "I'm Bill Tresh." I said, "Yeah, I know who you are." So he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to be in movies."
Is there someone you're dying to work with? How many movies have you made?
I don't know. With TV and movies, I don't know, over 100. I don't know. Well, I've worked with most people, but yeah, Meryl Streep would be nice.
She'll call you.
Yeah.
After the break, we'll talk about guilty pleasures and biggest risks and best advice in a round of If You Only Knew with The Shape of Water star Richard Jenkins. See The Shape of Water and see a magnificent performance. Stay with us. We're back with Richard Jenkins. I mentioned supporting actor for The Visitor. He was nominated for Best Actor. He was in every scene in that movie.
Yeah.
How'd you get that part?
Tom McCarthy, actually my agent, who is Tom McCarthy's agent, said he was writing this screenplay, and she said, "I want you to look at all his films. Go look at all his films." So he did. And he called me up one day and said, "I wrote this part for you." And he said, "Do you want to do it?" And I said, I read it, and I went, Tom, nobody's going to give you the money to do this movie with me in this part. And he said, that wasn't my question. You let me worry about that. I said, yeah, I want to do it.
Great film.
Yeah.
We play a game of You Only Knew, Richard. Here's what happens.
Okay.
Questions, and I just throw them up to you.
Okay.
Right? It's not a courtroom. Who is your childhood celebrity crush?
Haley Mills.
I loved her.
Oh, man. I dreamt about moving to England and becoming her gardener so she'd fall in love with me.
Her father was a great actor.
Yes, he was. Yes, John Mills.
Person you most look up to?
I would kind of say my wife.
Actor or director from yesteryear you'd like to work with?
Spencer Tracy.
What was special about him?
He was ahead of his time. He was just this human being on screen. He was just real.
Funniest fan encounter?
I had one the other day where somebody said to me, I know you. I said, no, you don't. He said, yeah, no, I know you. I said, well, I'm an actor. He went, oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, I saw you on TV. Oh, no, you're not an actor. You're a supporting actor.
What's the best piece of advice you ever got?
You're enough.
Worst piece of advice?
It's an easy business to get into.
What's the best compliment you ever got?
I forgot I was watching a performance.
Biggest risk you ever took?
I think becoming an actor, even though I had no idea it was a risk at the time.
Because it's such a tenuous business.
Crazy.
Biggest splurge?
I think our house we just bought.
Why do you live in Rhode Island?
Well, I was in a theater company there for 14 seasons as an actor, and a wonderful theater called Trinity Repertory Company. And our kids were born in school. I got The Witches of Eastwick from there. So we both, my wife and I said, let's stay. So we did.
You miss theater? You like theater?
I still direct in the theater. I love going to the theater. I don't have a great desire to go back on the stage, but I love it.
Last time you cried during a movie?
Watching The Florida Project and Brooklyn Prince, the little girl, fabulous little girl in there at the end when she starts crying, and it's the only time you really see her as a little girl. It broke my
Willem
heart.
Dafoe's nominated, right?
He's fantastic in it, yeah.
Is he nominated against you?
Yeah. He's fantastic. They're all fantastic. Sam Rockwell, I mean,
Sam Rockwell. I guess he would be favored.
he is favored, yeah. I won the AARP award last night, and I said, I want to thank Sam Rockwell for being too young to win this.
Is there someone else from yesteryear you would like to portray in a film?
No, I don't. Abraham Lincoln's uncle. I don't know.
He was a great guy.
He was. But
He told him, Abe.
You thought Abe was funny. Oh,
Guilty.
Barry Lincoln.
Guilty pleasure.
Every time Grease comes on, I got to watch it.
Really?
Yeah, it's my time. Yeah.
Luxury you can't live without.
Belonging to a golf course. I do love it. It is a luxury, though.
Upcoming film you're excited to see?
I've seen them all this year, so I can't think of any. I've seen most of them.
What was your favorite film other than Shape of Water?
Oh, man, that's hard. I liked them all. I loved Three Billboards. I loved The Florida Project. I, Tonya was really great. I loved Darkest Hour. I thought Gary Oldman was just fantastic in Darkest Hour.
He was insane.
That skill level in that performance is extraordinary. And the makeup is incredible. But, you know, that's just one. Lady Bird. I love Lady Bird.
Yeah, I did too.
Saoirse Ronan. Laurie Metcalf is fantastic in Lady Bird, yeah.
Longest period of time you've been awake?
2 hours.
You never had to stay up all night or nothing? What's a superpower you wish you had?
Memory. God.
At this age, it is a
Oh,
superpower.
man.
I'd like to be invisible.
Really?
Yeah.
I sometimes am.
You're stranded on a desert island. What 3 things do you bring with you?
My computer and my Wi-Fi. And so I would say third would be water.
Something you long believed to be true and then found out wasn't.
That Oh, you make your own luck. I don't believe that anymore. I think luck is just out there and you have nothing to do with it. I think it's big.
I agree with that. Yeah. Babe Ruth said, "I'd rather be lucky than good."
It's true. I mean, it's true. If you look back on your life, as I do, I say, if I hadn't done that, this never would have had. It's just luck.
Left turn, right turn.
Right. Exactly.
In our final moments, the Shape of Water star Richard Jenkins will answer your questions from social media, and we'll be right back. We're back with Richard Jenkins, one of the true great actors. I've appreciated your work.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, some social media questions. Hermine Azraman on Facebook. How do you respond to people who call The Shape of Water weird?
I look at them and think, I think it sometimes says more about who you are. It's like critics, you learn more about them sometimes than you do about what they're reviewing. So it's just, I don't get it if somebody says it's weird. I don't know what's weird about it. It makes perfect sense to me. So
it's certainly unusual.
Yeah, it is unusual, but in the best possible way. I mean, he's always looking. I don't want to see the same thing all the time. And Guillermo's always looking for a new way to make an emotional connection with an audience. That's his goal, is to bring you into that experience. But he doesn't want to do the same thing over and over again. He wants to find a new way.
A New Breed Atlas asks, is it possible to have Richard share any of the backstory of he and Sally as neighbors in The Shape of Water?
If it's not in the movie, for me, it doesn't matter. I think you'll see in the movie, I'm sure she has her own ideas about our life, and I think those ideas are valid. You see that I understand sign language, so you know that we've been friends for a very, very long time. There is a pattern. She brings me food before she goes to work. It's been going on for years and years and years. I tell her all. I tend to be. I think that I'm the alpha dog in that relationship, and we come to find out I'm not. But
Anthony Quinn told me when he gets a role, he tries to think of what that guy was like in high school, what formulated him, and that affects how he plays it.
It does. It does, and you do make those decisions. But it's all, if it's not on the page, that's where all the clues are for me. Everything, what they say about you, what you say, the way people respond to you, where you live, what clothes you wear. I mean, that's how you come to conclusions about these characters you play.
Kate Van Dyke on Twitter. Any word on Step Brothers 2?
I saw Mary Steenburgen the other night, and I said, if they don't, where are we going to have it in? A nursing home, or but I heard one time, I talked to Adam McKay, and he said, we're going to do it, and it didn't happen. So I don't know.
Duke Schnauzer on Twitter. Who cracked you up more on the set of Step Brothers, Will Ferrell or John Riley?
They're both just too funny, both of them. You cannot get the last word in with either one of them.
John C. Reilly's an underrated actor.
Oh, he's a brilliant actor. He's a brilliant actor. And he's hysterically funny.
Jimmy Marr on the Larry King Now blog. Is there a role you think you're most identified with?
The Step Brothers. It's I get that a lot. Dr. Doback, yeah.
And you must have loved Burn After Reading.
I did. Loved I love working with Joel and Ethan Coen. I love them. I've done 3 movies with them, and I just love them.
What a cast that was.
Amazing cast, yeah. And there was not a redeeming quality in anybody in that movie.
That's right.
There was just
nobody.
No, nobody, no.
What's John Malkovich like?
He's hilarious, really smart, interesting guy, brilliant actor. He's a cool guy, really cool guy.
So are you. Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, Larry.
Great meeting you.
It was fun.
Big thanks to my guest, Richard Jenkins. Be sure to see The Shape of Water. It's out now and it's everywhere. And tune into the Oscars March 4th to see if Richard takes home the Best Supporting Actor Award for his role in that film. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. I'll see you next time.